Episode 33. I am Buddha. As the alarm clock went off at 4:45 in the morning, waking up the entire family, Devyani couldn't believe that it was time to get up. She longed for the vacations. Though her work did not lessen, but at least she could get up a little later. The thought of filling up 15 buckets of water wasn't a pleasant thought, was it? Devyani was in the 7th standard and lived with her family in the beautiful mountain town of Ranikhet. Her elder sister Dida was in the 10th standard and the star pupil of the school. Her father, whom everyone called Master Ji, was a teacher at the secondary school, much respected and revered. But Devyani was very upset with Bapu these days. He had promised to give her a new frock when the school reopened. But then during the summers, he went over to his sister's village and brought her 2 daughters, Geeta and Kiran, to educate them in a school in Ranikhet. Obviously, Devyani's frock was cancelled. Before these 2 cousins, Santosh Didi had lived with them for 3 years to study till the 12th. Dadaji, Dadi and Ma had all objected to Bapu sending the girls to school, their fear being who will marry them. One day, however, Bapu had shouted back, forever putting a stop to this subject. He had said, I am doing my bit to uplift my family, my community, my country. All those great leaders, Gandhiji, Nehru, Tilak, Bose, they had all insisted on girls' education. I am totally convinced that if girls are not sent to school, we won't ever progress. I am doing my job, and God will do His job. I am sure God won't punish me for sending my girls to school. Ever since the 2 cousins had come, Devyani not only had to go without a new frock, but had to fill in extra buckets of water, and also had to drop them to their school each day. Today, after dropping them, as she was climbing a mountain trail to her own school, she was surprised to see Bapu standing there with a big smile. Munya, you remain a little upset these days, hai na? I guess I know the reason. Chalo, come with me to my school today. I will teach you that difficult maths chapter and we will have some fun also. ठीक है? Devyani sat on Bapu's bicycle but was quite confused. Had Geeta and Kiran complained against her? Or was Bapu going to buy her a new frock today? No, that was not possible. Before Devyani could finalize any answer, they reached Bapu's school. As Bapu entered the staff room, a young lady came forward and touched his feet. Arey, Sangeeta, kaisi ho? When did you come? Asked Bapu. I'm fine, Master Ji. Just wanted to take your advice on something. Acha, okay. Let me finish my first 2 periods, Sangeeta. Then I will talk. Ji, Master Ji. Master Ji, this is your younger daughter, isn't it? Haan, Sangeeta, she is Devyani. And Bapu smiled. She is very bright and smart. But she is angry with me these days because I brought over Geeta and Kiran to enroll them in the school here, and because of which I had to cancel Munya's frock. Devyani was shocked. She didn't know that Bapu had read her mind so well. Master Ji, can I take Devyani with me for a while? Asked Sangeeta. Bapu smiled and nodded a yes. Devyani began to walk with Sangeeta Didi. They arrived at a small but neat cottage. It was the primary health center. There were many people sitting in the lawns outside, and all of them got up to greet Sangeeta Didi respectfully. Oh, so Sangeeta Didi was the doctor here. Sangeeta made Devyani sit in her room. Triloki, the attendant, began bringing in all the patients one by one. An old man had walked for 10 kilometers to reach the health center. A woman brought her young infant girl in high fever and diarrhea. Sangeeta Didi had a pleasant smile and kind words of assurance for everyone. After looking at nearly 10 patients, Sangeeta Didi asked Devyani, Munya, will you like to become a doctor? Yes, Didi, just like you, Devyani eagerly replied. I don't think you have any idea how I became a doctor, Devyani. I will tell you. Listen to me carefully. I belong to the small mountain village Naikana, close to the Jageshwar Dham. We did not have a school there beyond the primary section. I wanted to study further after the 7th standard, but my parents were not ready to send me to Ranikhet for studying. It was then that Masterji came to my rescue. I have an old and distant aunt who lives in Ranikhet. Masterji begged and pleaded with her to keep me at her house. She finally agreed because she couldn't refuse Masterji. Masterji not only brought me here but also paid my fees for 5 years. He gave me books, and sometimes your mother also sent food for me. I don't know how Masterji managed, but every year he would give me 1 pair of clothes. So at home I would wear that, and to school I would wear the uniform. After the 12th standard, I appeared for the pre-medical exam, and I was selected to study in the medical college at Dehradun. I had, however, no money to go there. It was Masterji who convinced the Kumaon Mahila Utthayan Samiti to grant me a scholarship of rupees 500 every month. He also convinced my Bapu to sell off a few apple trees that we had. This is how I studied for 5.5 years and became a doctor. After becoming a doctor, I joined government service and was transferred to Ranikhet. I know I'm able to bring smiles to a lot of people's faces. Half of the women who come here fall sick because they are not educated and keep on using age-old medicine for serious ailments too. If women are educated, then their children will fall sick much less. Munya, frocks can be bought in dozens later on in life. But understand, this is the time when you should study, and you should make every effort that your female cousins also study. You are indeed blessed that you have Masterji as your Bapu. Didi, दूसरा patient ले आओ? The nurse broke into Sangeeta Didi's narrative. Oh, yes, certainly, Triloki. Sangeeta Didi smiled. Devyani remembered how Bapu had fought for Santosh Didi's education, then Dida's, and then her own. Bapu was so fair even in terms of milk and other food items. Yes, he did not give Devyani the promised frock. But Devyani suddenly realized that her frock was in fact educating 2 young girls. And who knows, one day she or Kiran or Geeta would also become a doctor like Sangeeta Didi. Dida certainly would become a collector, as Bapu would proudly proclaim in front of everyone. Santosh Didi was already a nurse in the Almora government hospital. What was a frock in front of these achievements? Suddenly, Devyani felt like Gautam Buddha. Her history book had a chapter on him. He had sat down under some tree and had been enlightened about life. Devyani felt enlightened today in Sangeeta Didi's room. All the buckets of water she had to fill, the long way she had to travel to drop her cousins to their school, suddenly appeared to be so worthwhile. Sangeeta Didi, can I go back to Bapu's school? She asked. Yes, certainly, Devyani. You have to learn maths by him, don't you? No, Didi. Maths can be done later. I just want to tell him that I am Buddha today. And Devyani walked away to Bapu's school.